True.
So you're going to have to do something drastic. If I was the head of the Mass GOP, I'd say we're taking a couple years off. You Democrats,
Well,
and again, that would give us 4 years.
not that it's relevant now, but actually, Christy Myhouse, who was the man that did not get on the ballot for the September primary at the Republican convention, since he only came in with the 11% of the delegates as opposed to the 15% he needed, he went to New Hampshire and he held a gathering of former Massachusetts people, and he asked them, what would it take to get you to come back? What made you leave? And I suppose for every person that left, there's a different story. Mm-hmm. But what I know what New Hampshire's going to be getting is probably the congressional seat that we're going to be losing. Mm-hmm. So it gives them a lot more clout in Washington than we lose ours. And it's actually, when you think about it, we're losing that congressional seat when we'll be down to 9 districts. Each district will be larger, and that could actually discourage some people from running next time, because the cost of media, mm-hmm. more newspapers that need to be covered, more campaigning. It's
and also if you were going to be a candidate, and the first things you're asking, what kind of support
am
I going to get from the state party? Okay, because I know a bunch of candidates who didn't get a dime.
Well, it's the down ticket candidates, people like the governor's council, mm-hmm. or some of the state legislature or county offices. They're pretty much ignored.
Yeah,
that's the tradition. Ignore them.
And depending on where you live in the state, I mean, if you live closer inside 128, and you're where it's happening, closer to Boston, you'll get more attention. But if you live further out,
you're pretty much on your own.
You are on your own, and the grassroots feel isolated. The state party never comes to them and says, what can we do to help you get elected? They come to them and say, where's our check?
Right.
So, because we have to pay our rent on, are they still on Merrimack Street?
85 Merrimack Street.
Okay.
Boston.
And, I mean, that's one of the things I want to do is move it out of town, find someplace cheaper and make it more accessible for people to go, so you don't have to pay $20, $30 to park.
We got it right here in Malden. We have plenty of open businesses.
There's all kinds of places, that I was looking at.
Right.
One of the things I was looking at was to buy a building.
All right.
And then rent out to tenants.
Right.
And have money coming in constantly. And then within that building, the Mass GOP could have free rent.
Or have some branch offices.
Have some branch offices,
smaller
places,
ones, but
smaller with some ample parking.
For the Cape, for the Berkshires, for Central Mass, sure.
But we're not thinking in those terms.
Right.
And the state committee is not thinking in those terms. There are some good people. I talked to, or I emailed back and forth with some good conservative state committee people who are extremely frustrated that the Rhino Wing owns the party and votes along pretty much with policies that are against the state party. And there's a lot of weeding out that has to be done. Till that happens, nothing's going to change, and Massachusetts is going to be a receiver state.
Right. Since you are in the D.C. area, do you hear more rumors about presidential prospects than we may be getting up here?
No, I hear the same stuff because at this point, I mean, considering how much money it takes to run nowadays, the machine that it takes, and the toll that it takes, I mean, the colonoscopy that you get running as a presidential candidate probably discourages people the most. For all of her shortcomings that may be perceived as opposed to her what she brings to the table, look at what Sarah Palin went through. Okay? I mean, the way that the media, if the media doesn't like you, okay, so basically if you're a Republican, let's just break it down. If you're a Republican, what the media will do to you, do to your family, and while giving the Democrat a pass on all those things, why would you want to? Okay, I mean, first of all, to be the president, you got to have a massive ego, and that can be a plus or a minus. I mean, I would love to see Chris Christie do it. I don't know if Chris Christie thinks it's worth it. I would love to see Sarah Palin as the chairman of the RNC because she can draw crowds. She can get money into the RNC. There is such a plus for her to be the RNC chair, and she could have a lot of clout without having to go through the ringer that she would have to go through as a presidential candidate. As far as the rumors that are going around, I'm hearing the same things that Chris Christie's by far and away the favorite. Mitt Romney still has delusions.
Okay.
He's not. I mean, I don't care about the Mormon thing,
Right.
but he's got mask or what I call Romney care is going to hang over his head until until the day he's either voted out or hopefully doesn't make it through a primary. That's going to hang over, and deservedly so. But aside from that, there's Newt Gingrich,
And Mike Huckabee.
But
some new names, though, I can throw out to you, like John Thune of South Dakota.
I've heard lots of good things about Thune. I mean, Pence.
Another Indiana.
Mike Pence is someone.
Haley Barbour's name has been mentioned.
Barbour would be good because he was a really good RNC chair. Pawlenty. Tim Pawlenty's another person who's been out there.
Governor. He's going to be outgoing in January.
So
there's also Jim DeMint. There's another name that gets tossed.
There's a lot of really good people out there. But then again, at the end of the day, then it's just a question of ignoring the media cheap shots. Those are going to come.
Now, how did you spend election night? Where were you?
Actually, I was invited to an event that I declined to go to.
Okay.
So I was basically at home,
okay,
in front of the computer.
All right.
I was going to consider live blogging it, but I just figured everybody's going no.
Right.
So you can just watch your favorite news coverage. I tried to embed Fox News on my website, but they weren't having any of it. So the only thing I could embed for a little while was CBS, which nobody watched. Sure. And I figured everybody was watching on television at home, so that's basically what I did. And the news as it came in, again, was expected.
Okay.
I was shocked. As much as I didn't really care much for Baker Tisei, I was shocked at how badly they did.
True. Well, you got to figure the Tim Cahill factor did come in play.
Sure.
Just with the margin of difference from 49 to 42.
Mm-hmm.
I think without Cahill, it might have been maybe Patrick could have pulled through, but it would have been maybe at 1%. Something like Romney's victory over Shannon O'Brien was in 2002. It would have been much closer.
But I think it was also a question of the weakness.
Right.
And the flakiness. I met Charlie Baker at a Lincoln breakfast. I believe it was about maybe 2 or so years ago.
It was.
I think it was. Yeah. Was that the one I spoke?
I produced it. It was here. The one where you were the guest speaker for
and
hijacking our history was your speech.
And I spoke to him briefly, and I wanted to talk to him later about certain issues, and he said he would get back to me, wouldn't take my phone calls.
Okay.
I mean, he was the biggest flake. Those kind of things make a tremendous impact on me. I look at the phoniness of a Mitt Romney.
Rector has told us the clock on the wall says the time is up, and it's a shame it's only a 30-minute show. But Bob, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
And we look forward to having you back.
Sounds good, Barry.
Hopefully. Today's Republican Voice is an independent production. It is not connected in any way to the Massachusetts Republican State Committee or any city or town committee. Thank you for tuning in.